Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Dave. I do lots of shopping hauls on this channel, and today is actually my first Aldi haul that I've done on the channel. Now, Aldi, actually, very little fun fact for you. The first Aldi was actually opened in the UK the year I was born in the shopping centre local to the area I grew up in. So I almost grew up with Aldi, and there was a bit of a negative stigma attached to it, I'd say, maybe back in the early 90s. I feel like that has all gone now, and it's almost like a bit of a flex to shop at Aldi. But I've not shopped there and done a proper shop for a couple of years, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back, I'm going to give it another go. I've got mixed feelings about it. I'm going to talk about it as we go through the shopping haul, so let's get into it and I'll talk to you about it as we go through and I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some of this fresh stuff here. So I've got a packet of the black grapes. Date on these is decent actually as well. These are £1.89. I thought that was reasonable. I've got, this is one of their special offers. You know, they have like a Super 6 or whatever. So these are like their extra special easy peelers. And they're £1.19. So I think that that's quite reasonable for the fancy ones. I'm looking forward to seeing how these are, because the ones I've been buying from Tesco, both the Jaffa branded and the Tesco ones, have been really tasty recently, so I hope these are also the same. I've got some mushrooms here. They were about the same price as they would be in Tesco. This is one of the things that I really didn't like about Aldi, so is why I've got some mixed feelings. There was no loose onions available, so I either had to buy a 3-packet that was wrapped in kind of like a plastic thing, or a packet of plastic diced ones. Because I only needed one onion, it just worked out better value for me to just buy this rather than buy the other one. So yeah, that's why I've done that. It's a real shame that they don't have loose onions in there. They do, however, have loose bananas, and these were charged at 16p each rather than weighing them, which was interesting. These blueberries are also on one of the special offers as well, so I'm looking forward to seeing these. I often find that when you buy them in the other supermarkets, when it's the cheap branded ones, that they taste of nothing or dirt. So I hope these aren't the same, but yeah, we'll see. Now, this is something that I was excited about, actually. Now, I actually went into Tesco, so you can tell I'm used to going there, can't you? I actually went into Aldi with the intention of buying their £14 Aldi special buy Valentine's meal, but actually I've made my own up for a little bit cheaper. So let me show you what I've got. So I ended up buying, because I wasn't that bothered about Prosecco, I brought one of these Ballycastle's Bailey's rip-offs, Raspberry Ripple. This is £4.99, so I thought that was a really reasonable price. Usually it's £7 something, so it was on a special offer. And then I've got a packet of sweet potatoes here. I'm going to make some of my own sweet potato wedges. I'll actually only need 2 of these, so there's going to be a bonus 2 in there that I'll have later on in the week for something as well. I'm going to fry up just a couple of mushrooms here to go with them as well. Packet of the 2 steaks and some purple sprouting broccoli. So I'm going to make us a nice fancy meal with what we've got here. But rather than it costing £14, it's actually cost £12.75, so it's saving £1.25 and it's buying exactly what we kind of would have wanted. So don't always be brought in by these special fancy meals. It's not always the best thing. Might come in fancy packaging and fancy shapes, who cares? I have got one of these Rice Krispies rip-off. The price is about the same as Tesco. The box does feel smaller though, but I don't know whether that's going to be because it's actually like filled, but yeah, I guess we'll see. I went for the finest bread. That wasn't because I was being posh, especially selected as they call it in Aldi. It had the best date of all the bread that I could find in there, so that's why I've ended up going for that. These Nutri-Grain rip-offs here, now these were a really good price. These were £1.05 each, so yeah, I'm really pleased with that, because even when they have kind of like the cheaper brands such as Go Ahead in the other supermarkets, they're never quite as cheap as those. So yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? So I've got some knickknacks here, and this kind of like leaves, well, so the knickknacks, their version of knickknacks. It's going to take some getting used to, isn't it? But this is one of the reasons why I wasn't such a huge fan of Aldi, because I wanted some kind of like bacon rashers, but there wasn't any. and I'm in the mood for a binge, so I've ended up getting these because someone actually told me about them and said they were really nice. So we've gone with that. Now I've got a packet of these, basically Freddo rip-offs, aren't they? For a 10 pack, it was £1.99. It's not a real bargain. I mean, usually you find that the packs of 5, when they're on special offer in the other supermarkets, are £1.25. So I suppose it offers a little saving. I guess it depends how big they are. I guess we'll find out when I open them. But I certainly thought it was worth giving it a go. Now, middle aisle purchases. These were all impulse purchases, so it's kind of something that I was that you need to be aware of with Aldi is I was not prepared to spend. This is £16 worth here, so this is £5, £5 and £6 for these creams and the aftershave, which if these are good is a real bargain, but it is just £16 I weren't prepared to spend. That's how they get your money, isn't it, in Aldi? Do you know what? Let me know in the comments, actually, what is your most wild middle aisle purchase from Aldi, because I think we all make them, don't we? Yeah. I've seen some stuff online about them in the past and they really make me laugh. So there's some passatas here and tomato puree. So I'm going to be making a homemade spaghetti bolognese tomorrow, actually. I've already got the mince in the freezer from when I did my massive stock up shop with the 10% off at Tesco. We've got so much meat in there, so it makes these shops just a little bit cheaper, which is nice. The passata and the tomato puree, the prices were on par with how they are in all the other supermarkets. I've got this white chocolate bar here. This was £2, which is quite expensive really, isn't it? But again, I'm having that little binge tonight. My husband's away in Cardiff with work, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to sit in a house and eat loads of crap. Why not? So yeah, I'm going to have the knick-knack rip-offs and then I'm going to have this after, so I'm looking forward to that in a minute. And I'm not sharing it with anyone. This was a real bargain, actually. So it's obviously a rip-off of Options, isn't it? This was like £1.69, I think, off the top of my head, give or take a few pence. But this is like considerably cheaper, especially when you consider it's 300 grams, where normally they're only like 220. Options, full price, a lot of the time in the supermarkets is about £5, but it is regularly on half price. But yeah, this is just standard, so pleased with that. Got these 4 Muller Lite rip-off yoghurts here, 4 for 99p, bargain. This is obviously a rip-off of Clover. This is £1.35, so it's not that much cheaper than Clover when it's on offer, to be honest. But they didn't sell Clover in there, and I thought, you know what, give it a go. It could still save me a few pennies, couldn't it? 2 milks, not very exciting. The price of the milk was about the same as it is in other supermarkets. It wasn't particularly cheap. I did, however, get these eggs here, 50% off, so they worked out something like 80p. Still good date on them of about a week before their use by date, but they have to sell them by a certain date, don't they, for whatever reason, but they'll be long gone by that point. I've tried these broccoli protein yogurts here. These are 75p each, so it kind of works out about the same as buying the branded ones. They're often on 4 for £3 in the supermarkets, but you didn't have to buy that many, so I thought, you know, I'll just buy one of each, give those a go. A high protein noodle pot. I think it's just a bit of a marketing technique, but I thought I'd give them a go for 99p. They're in the middle aisle as well. Then I've just got some honey roast ham here. And then I've got these little protein shakes. These are 79p each. So to me, I thought that was a real bargain. Yeah, I don't know if you agree. They're not actually for me, they're for my husband. So he might tell me that they're not very good, but there's only one way to find out. So I've got one of each flavour: salted caramel, a strawberry and a chocolate. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit more now about why I didn't like Aldi. While I am doing that, comment down below now and let me know how much you think this shopping come to, and then it'll be curious to see at the end how close you actually are. So yeah, write it in the comments now. So what did I like about Aldi? I thought a lot of the prices were cheap, much cheaper than I actually remember them being compared to other supermarkets. And what I did really like was that a lot of them were not kind of, well, one, you don't have to have a club card or a Morrison's card or anything like that to get them. The prices tend to be the price. and there were very few kind of like special offers as such, like half price or anything like that. I know I did get a few bits like that, but generally the prices were just low and it felt like it was their everyday low price. Something that I didn't like was I couldn't actually find everything I needed, or there wasn't a huge selection of things. So I'm not sure that I could rely on going to Aldi to do like a big, massive like shop with everything that I'd require in there. But it did perfectly well for today. I got by sort of thing, but our cupboards are relatively well stocked, so it wasn't a huge issue for us there. And also, I think that you need to be careful sometimes with thinking that things are particularly cheap or whatever just because they're in Aldi, because there was a lot of things that were in there that were not cheap, and I looked and I was kind of like, oh god, that's much cheaper in all of the other supermarkets. So I know if you've kind of got more time that you can move around and go to different supermarkets and all of that, but you do have to weigh up petrol costs, the hassle of doing it. What's my verdict? Would I go back to Aldi again? Definitely, and I will be going back to Aldi again. So if you're interested in that, or you want to see what I get up to elsewhere, then just make sure you're subscribed. Well done if you've made it this far listening to me talking about it all. But yeah, I'll definitely go back to Aldi again at some point. I liked that they did quite a lot of different stuff compared to the other supermarkets. But on that note, I'm going to leave you to it because I'm rambling on now. So thank you very much for watching. Take care and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.